Mitch. Hi, American Dad. Hi, Lele. Hi, Cam. Hi, Richard. Hi, Matt. And Scorpio. What up? Nice shirt. Wait, why'd you say Sag? Oh, true. It's okay. It's from last year. We can still have good memories from last year. Hi, Aiden. Hi, DePiglio. Hi, Oofin Monkey. And man, when you said that, it just made me realize this year. I mean, I realize it every day and every second of every day, but it's still like, oh, wow, what a year. Hi, NC Golden. Hey, Cherry. Hi, Desav. Hi, Honey. Hi, Constalive. Hello, everyone. Okay, hold on. Let me post on Instagram just real quick. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, okay, hello. Okay, well, I will wait 2 minutes to start, and then I will say my things, and then I will move on. And then that will be that, because I am very stressed. What happened to Fed? Oh, who wants to tell him? Sorry, I can't help it. Joke sometimes. Imagine that. Thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back, MP. Thank you for the 19 months. Go to Reddit if you have literally no idea what's going on. Hi, Chow. Hi, Qigong. Hi, I don't know. Sometimes, you know, when you're like going through stuff, a lot of emotions, and you're like sad, you're angry, but then like you can't help but like laugh at times. It's like you sometimes like you just cope by laughing. And then you're like, why am I laughing? This is like a serious thing. Yeah, that's what manic laughter, maybe a little bit. So Credence, thank you for the 43 months. Blue Skies. Joe Mar, thank you for 16 months. Yeah, it's just like, it makes you, I don't know, you just have to like laugh at it sometimes. It's so ridiculous. Elliot, what's up? And Advent Palace, what's up? Hello, thank you for the 19 months. Mecca, same for the 9 months. It helps hide the sadness. Exactly. Yeah, normal human reaction. Is the audio delayed? Oh, maybe a little bit. Is it bad though? I'm having computer issues, like PC problems. I think something went boom with my CPU, so I'm gonna have Christopher Yee is gonna come over, and he's gonna help me fix it tomorrow. Yeah, so he's making an emergency trip down, because I was like, I can't run anything. I can't, like Valorant would take up 70% of my computer usage. Yeah. S-Crack, same for 21 months. So I like how Nick first thing, does that mean movie night's canceled? I'm gonna figure out what time. I'm gonna try to make it work, but I also have a sponsored stream tomorrow. Gosh, can I just say, like, throughout all of this, the sponsor this was my sponsor week. You guys don't even know, like, this was my sponsor week. Supposed to have a sponsor stream today. I begged Hannah, like, please don't make me do it today, just because I knew I wanted to say something, but I didn't want to like do this talk and then go into a sponsored stream. I just felt like that would be super weird. You know, so I just asked her like if I could move it. She said tomorrow. So I've just been, honestly, I've been dreading this stream. I knew that I'd have to I considered saying I refuse to talk on it. I'm just not going to say anything. But I do think, I thought about it, talked to the girls, talked to a lot of people, OTV, Skara. I just asked like what should I do, is because I don't want to make things worse. But yeah, and they just said, everyone who I talked to told me, you should say your piece. You should say what would give you closure in this situation. Like, if I think about it, like, Fed has been in my life since 2017. So, damn, I'm getting all emotional. What the heck? I haven't cried like at all. Well, no, I cried. That's a lie. But I'm getting all emotional because it sucks. Yeah, it's a really, really, really lame situation. How does Pokey do this? Oh my god, I was watching her yesterday. I'm like, bless your soul for like taking the pressure, because that, like, she was the first one to like speak, and tons of people were watching her and stuff. She wrote everything down. Yeah, she did. She did. I wrote things down too, because I have I'm just gonna preface this. What I'm gonna say is my personal stuff with Fed. Everything, yeah, personal. I have everything I'm gonna say, with an exception of 1 or 2 things, because I forgot to. I said to his face. I told him I was at the intervention, and I spoke with him face to face. So I was able to tell him, and it was really rough. But he took really well to it at the time. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to Pokey for like breaking the street, like the it just felt very hard to go live, and I was like, what are you guys gonna say? I don't know what to say. So I've been dreading saying anything, and I battled with just saying nothing. I was like, okay, I could just go live and be like, hey, not gonna address it, peace. Yeah, but like I said, Fed has been a part of my life, and I did want to just touch, well, not even touch, just go into some things that my experiences with him, and a lot of this is nothing to do with the sexual assault stuff going on, and this is just him as a friend to me, and ways that I actually I didn't realize were toxic at the time, but yeah, and I think that it'll give me closure. So I don't want to add fuel to the fire. I just want to support my friends right now, and yeah, I guess just yeah, that's it. I'm gonna be really bad at speaking because I've never really talked like this in front of people. I think this is the first time I've brought like an issue with a friend up publicly, like publicly. I've dealt with friends stuff privately. Like this is as if like when I think about it, like the Just Friends boom, like if I had to like come on stream and talk about like luckily like Just Friends didn't explode to the point of like, you know, we kick someone out or like, I don't know, but I never wanted to speak on that, and I still haven't spoken on it, but this has gotten to the point where it has to be publicly addressed. It's all out there, and so I have permission from everyone I'm going to speak about to include them in my stories. And so yeah, anyways, who is Fed? Okay, well, I'm not going to go that far deep in lore. Yeah, it's just been really rough, yeah, since the whole like stuff with Albert happened last year, and then, you know, it's just like, what is going on? It feels really sad. Just like, it's so weird. I was talking about Edison. I was like, in a normal like friend group, this is not how things go down, you know. It feels like every time I lose a friend, it's like this all these emotions, so much hurt, like I don't know, it's just like the public weighs in, and imagine like losing a friend and seeing your friends get hurt by your friend, but also having like the public opinion weigh in on your friendships, and like you see people who are so incredibly wrong about like your best friends, and like making these accusations, and like, oh my gosh, imagine that, like the feelings we were all going through were like we were raging behind the scenes. So I just was trying to balance my emotions with everything, because it's been really really frustrating. Anyway, so I'm sorry, yesterday I was watching Pokey stream. She was clearing her throat like a lot, like you know. Totally understand. That K-drama, nothing but 5 gets subs. It's a thing, you have a lot of emotions, you're like shaking a bit, and her hand I think was shaking a bit, I'm shaking a little bit. And anyways, so like I said, it's I would like to say my things are not on the severity of what other Lily, Pokey, Yvonne came out with. This is just my personal stuff, and it will give me, I think, when I considered sharing it, I realized it would give me closure to share it with the whole situation. And I haven't even quite figured out my own feelings with everything, so I don't actually know how to tell you guys exactly how I'm moving forward, and we're moving forward and all this stuff, because I haven't actually figured it out myself, because in between all of this, I've been like filming a sponsored video and prepping. Last night I was editing my video, but I got distracted by Reddit, like every other thing. I stopped to watch Pokey stream, and then I'm like so many emotions. Type. So, anyways, yeah, been Pep and Meltdown. Anyways, beginning. So, all right. So I guess I'll just start. I want to share my stories with how Fed affected me personally, and. So Fed and I, we met back in 2017, and everything, like I've been dating Edison since the beginning of before we met. So I never had any like real, like when I hear about the stories that Fed has with others girls, I experienced probably the least of it all in terms of flirtatiousness or just like him making any kind of, sexual advance. That was me and him, very nothing almost. I have a few, but it's really, in my opinion, I don't think it's near like nothing. Anyways, I grew to trust him a lot, because Fed, as you guys know, is the kind of person who like he makes you feel special because he comes over to your place, right? He's the guy like, oh, Fed's in my room. He just like opens the door. He comes over, like opens the front door, comes into, you guys are like always got that vibe, right? When we're at Just Friends, like wherever I lived with Kimmy, with Jamie, he always was just there. And it was kind of like, aw, he cares so much that he just like is in my room all of a sudden. And it was just like, that was just the thing that Fed did. So I grew to trust him a lot. He would come over, and there was a day I even remember, he just came over and I could tell he had a lot on his mind, and he just like came over to my room. It was in the morning, and he's like, what are you doing today? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, want to hang out? And I was like, sure. And I'm like, what does that mean? Want to hang out? But I was like, sure. So we literally just hung out in my room the entire day, 12 hours straight doing work. We just did work. And we'd look up at each other and we're like, and so there's nothing weird about this in my opinion. I was just like, okay, he's super random. That's just Fed things. But I grew to trust his physical presence, like wherever he was, because we had just sat there in my room and just, yeah. So this is just, we're building trust all this time. Okay, and so I'm going to share a story that I have permission with Jody gave me permission. So after Schumer Camp, season 1, so I don't think this was ever shared, but me and Jody had a rough patch. Like we didn't click, we didn't get along right away after Streamer Camp, and this was never made public. We have since talked it out, and we are on really great terms. I talked to her in person about this. I talked to her yesterday. I talked to her throughout this process. We're good. But and I'm not going to delve into why or whatever. That's not important. But during this rough patch, Fed was very aware of it. So Jody has basically been in talking with everyone for like 2 months at this point, beginning of 2018, right after Schumer Camp. Fed has been my friend for, a while at this point. I trust him a lot. And he calls me, and he's on the phone with him and Yvonne. He calls me knowing like just stuff is going on in my mind about Jody. He calls me and he's like, hey, like, just want to let you know, like, I'm on your side. I'm 100% behind you, no matter what. Like, you're my homie. You're my bro. Like 100%. Okay. And I was like, thanks, Fed. Like, that means a lot. That's really sweet. And Edison was next to me, and I was like, thank you. Like, I really just want to work through my feelings about everything. And he was so incredibly supportive. So he's like, okay, like, just want to say, like, I'm on your side. And like, he would say, essentially just so aggressively supportive of me. He called me to tell me. So I hang up and I'm like, okay, like, I'm just trying to work out my feelings and yada, yada. The next day I go on Twitch and I look at, I don't know if this is all petty or whatever. I go on Twitch and I notice he's on a call with Jody, like, flirting out of his mind with her. This is when like the Fody thing was happening. That was like, yeah. So he had been super flirtatious with her that day, on a call with her, and then he ends the stream and he hosts her. And then I was like, wow, it's not a huge deal. It's just like, that kind of feels like a slap in the face, because you were like, you went out of your way to call me to tell me like you got my back. Like, why? Like, I wouldn't care if you didn't go out of your way to tell me that, but why would you call me specifically to tell me that? Like, and then like not follow up on your word whatsoever. Like, what? So it's my bad for not just telling him in the moment. What the heck? I just suppressed, and I was like, okay, move on, whatever. About a week later, I want to say a week or a week and a half later, I'm ending stream. Oh, he texts me while I'm streaming, and he's like, hey, what are you doing after stream? I was like, nothing. He's like, all right, I'm gonna come over. And I was like, oh, sure, whatever. He's like, I'm bored, I'm gonna come over. So Fed comes over, and yeah, he comes over. He's like, he has a bottle of Ciroc randomly, and I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, you want a drink? And I'm like, I'll take like a shot or two. And so we just sit there and we just drink a little bit. We weren't like fucking drunk or anything. We were just talking. And so nothing happens. Obviously we're just talking, but it does get to the point where I'm sharing my frustrations with Jody again. And I'm kind of like, I wasn't straightforward and told him like, why did you do what you did last week? But he's like, once again, I got your back 100%, like, basically the same words, completely like supportive. I was like, okay, he's on my side again. All right, thank you. And so I was really like opening up to him about everything. I remember I was like pouring out my heart. I was like, blah, 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 this and this and this is frustrating. I don't really remember what I was saying, but I know that I was like mid rant. And he looks at his phone and then he starts like texting, and then he gets like super dismissive of me. Like I can just tell he's like, yeah. And he's just texting and he's just constantly looking at his phone. And I'm like, okay, like then if you're not gonna listen to me, just don't listen to me. Like, so I started to just stop talking, and then I was like, okay, anyway. He's like, oh, my Uber's here, by the way. I'm gonna go. I'm like really tired. I'm super tired. I'm gonna go to bed. And I was like, oh, okay. If you're tired, you're tired. And he's like, yeah, but like, I'm on your side. I like 100% support you. So I was like, okay, bye. And within 2 minutes, he's out, and I'm just like there. And I'm like, okay, I feel really off about that, but whatever. So I call Kimmy because I was bored, and I'm like, Kimmy, want to hang out? And she's like, yeah, I'm down. So she comes over, she drives over, and then she picks me up, and then I was like, let's go to Edison's place. And at the time, if you guys don't know, Edison's living with Jody and Albert, Box and Sean. So Kimmy comes to pick me up, and we go to Edison's place, and we just pop in as a surprise, like, hey, Edison. I walk in and I see Fed, like first thing, Fed in Jody's room. I was like, hey, Fed. And yeah, and he just like, oh, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what are you doing here? I thought you had to go to bed. And he's like, oh, like I changed my mind and stuff. And then, so yeah, okay. So I was just really, really like, I was really burned in that moment. Once again, this is all like seems very petty. I'll just tell you, this is where my trust in him was never the same ever, because why, it's just, why would you ever do that? Super fake. Yeah. He just tells me what I want to hear. Like, why would you do that? And then he just lied to my face. Yeah. So after that, I never trusted him fully again. So I had a really tough time telling this to his face, by the way. Like when I was saying this, I was like shaking because I had held this in for a while. I just didn't know how to tell him that. Yeah, I didn't know how to tell him this because I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we just patch things up. I just kind of suppress. Fed is a great guy. Fed's a great guy. Everyone loves Fed. So I can't have any problems with him, because if I bring up any issues with him, I don't want to cause a wedge in this friend group. Everyone's so great. Everyone loves Fed. So just Fed things, whatever. So that's how I coped. I cope with everything. I just said, wow, that felt really bad. Wow, what a horrible thing to do. But yes, okay. Anyways, just Fed things. That's a very reoccurring thing in this. So I suppressed that, and it had been on my mind. I had actually brought this up to multiple people. I talked to this exact situation. I've probably told this story like 10 times now to close friends, and each of them were like, wow, like, okay, that makes sense, because I didn't know where my friendship with him started to shake. Anyway, so from here I have like smaller stories. So in 2019, last year, this is October 2019, we're all chilling, and Fed comes up to me. We're all like having like deep talks and stuff. Fed comes up to me and he's like, hey, like, I just want you to know, like, you're my best friend. And I was like, oh, wow, that's like a really, that's really like really nice. I didn't feel the same way, honestly, because like I had been like, I can't feel like I'm a best friend to someone who like I haven't been fully honest with, in terms of I'd had that resentment towards him and I had kept my distance. But he's like, you're my best friend. And I was like, wow, thanks, Fed. That's really sweet. And then he goes, thank you so much for being so cool and never getting mad at me. And I was like, aw. I didn't realize in the moment what the hell, that's like a super toxic thing to say to somebody. But he's like, yeah, thank you for never getting mad at me. And I was like, yeah, dude, I got you, right? I'm cool. Yeah. And then I was like walking in, and I just thought it didn't settle well with me. So I told Edison, and I'm like, Edison, like, is that normal to say to somebody? And he's like, dude, Leslie, that's like super toxic to say to somebody, because think about it. Like, if someone says thank you for never getting mad at me, it means like it's encouraging you to never bring things up with them. Like, I realized, like, he's like, thanks for being so cool for never getting mad at me. That means like in the future, if I get mad at you, am I no longer cool to you? Like, right? Like, it's like, if you want to stay my best friend, essentially, like, never get mad at me. You're so cool for never getting mad. You're my best friend, Leslie, right? Like, that's like the gist of it. That's what I was feeling, but I wasn't able to process what that meant because he said it in such a loving situation, and like, I don't know. So that had also like been something. This is something I forgot to say to him because I'd written down my thoughts to talk to him, but when I'm staring at him face to face, I was like unable to recall things. So I was just like kind of just reading what I had written down. So that one I didn't get to say to him because, and also I didn't remember at the time. Yeah. Anyway, so Edison told me that, and I was like, okay, kind of like note that that's super toxic. Okay. And then like, there's a lot of small little incidents, but like those two are the ones that really kind of stand out to me. One time I was in the Just Friends house, and I was changing, and yeah, I was changing, and apparently like Fed was in Kimmy's room, like in the back house area, and like you could see me apparently. So apparently Fed saw me changing, and stuff. And instead of like just looking away, he like notifies Kimmy that I'm changing, and then is like, she's changing, like, what? Anyway, so, and then makes the point to like come over back to our place, my room, and like tell me that he saw me changing and stuff. And I don't know, maybe I've talked about this on stream, and like think about the way I shared it. I was like, ha, like Fed saw me changing, lol. Oh my god, just that's so funny, Fed. Like, you know what I mean? The way we like, if you go back on so many of these like clips and stuff, the way we make excuses for it all and rephrase things. I have talked about this, right? Because I think I was just like, oh my god, Fed saw me changing, lol, Fed, you know, but it was weird. That's a weird thing, and it made me uncomfortable to like for him to talk about seeing me without a top on. Like I was just like, don't say that, it's weird. Like I was like, what did he see? Like, you know, like I just instantly got insecure like about just him seeing me like that. I just didn't want that. So that was just something I noticed, like, why would he bring it up? It's okay if maybe he glanced over and like, oh my gosh, windows are open, but like turn away, don't bring attention to it, don't tell Kimmy, don't bring it up to me later, or like maybe bring it up to me later and say you're super sorry. But the way he brought it up was like in a humorous like, ha, and it just made me feel very uncomfortable. So that was that. And then I've told this story on stream as well, because once again, I'm always like, ha, Fed story, another Fed story. But this one was like, one time he was like insanely drunk at the Offlinetv house at his birthday. And I'm going down the stairs as he's coming up the stairs, and he's like falling over. Like he can't stand, he can't do anything. So I'm like, Fed, where are you going? He's like, I need to go to the bathroom. So he's trying to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, I walk him up to the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Do. We go to the bathroom. I walk him into the bathroom, and like, he just pees. Just like, no hesitation. Just starts peeing in front of me. And of course, at the time, I'm like, he's drunk, and it's not intentional. And this is still in my mind a minor story that I like don't think too much of, because I'm just like, I just think that, you know, but it is weird that he just, like, no other of my guy friends, I have had many guy friends in my life, none of them have ever peed in front of me, drunk or not. Like, they just haven't. When I think about a lot of these stories, I'm like, it just has, like, no other guys have done this. So why Fed, you know? And then I hear that, like, Fed has peed in front of multiple girls. So anyways, he just peed in front of me, and I was like, bro, and I just like ran out the door and just like waited. So, and then I told the story in a very light fashion, like, haha, Fed peed in front of me, haha. But when I was confronting him about it, he actually brought it up to me, and I was like, there's a story. He's like, is this where I peed in front of you? And I was like, actually it isn't. I was gonna talk about a different story, but we'll get to that. And then so he was aware that it was weird and that it was something I was gonna bring up. Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's just once again, it's the Just Fed things, very reoccurring thing. And I think the reoccurring thing with all of this is that the reason I didn't want to bring it up as an issue to people, to Fed, to OTV, is because I didn't want to break apart like his like okay, how do I describe it? Okay, so you know how everyone has always been like, Fed is such a good friend. Fed does this. He organizes everything at EDC. He like, you know, yeah, okay, yeah, it organizes all these things at EDC. He pays for everything. Oh my gosh, Fed. What a good friend, right? And so that's like the echoing statement that everyone's hearing. So, and I was putting out there because I'm like, Fed, man, I've never met someone who makes me feel so high and so low at the same time. It's crazy. It's like this, like my feelings with him. I'd feel so incredibly like cared for by him, and he would pay so much attention, and then the next month you're nobody to him, ignored, not one message from him. You'd send him a message, nothing back, you know. And I'm like, wow, I felt like weirdly like dependent on his attention at some points. And when I talk to the other girls, it's very similar like emotions, and it's so weird. I can't describe it. So that was something that I felt like if he didn't, because he literally would make a habit of just coming over to this house or wherever I or other girls were living, just walk in, and he'd do that maybe every day for like, or every other day for like weeks, and then he'd just stop, and you couldn't help thinking, is there something wrong with me? Did I bore him? Did I like, am I like just, you know, did I get just thrown out? Like, you know, he moved, and then you find out he just went to another girl's house all the time, and or you know, and you just wouldn't really, you would start to think like, am I crazy? I guess I'm not important in his life anymore. So that sucks. That sucked. And so yeah, this was especially prominent. I don't know if you guys remember the vlog. He was vlogging a lot, and there's a vlog period where he's at our house all the time. You'll see it if you go to his vlog channel. It's just like, I'm in a lot of the thumbnails. It's just a bunch of that. He was here all the time. And then as soon as OTV got their new house, he just stopped coming over. He stopped messaging me. He stopped talking to me, and I was going crazy. I was like, wow, am I literally only in Fed's life when he needs me for or wants me for content? That is it? And I remember thinking, wow, like to myself, holding all these thoughts only to myself. I vented to Edison, and that's it, because I didn't want to put an ounce of negativity about Fed out into the group for fear it would get back to him, back to OTV, and they would just be like, yeah, you know, we can't deal with drama. You're out. We don't want to talk to you anymore. Just the fear of all this, right? And so I'm like, I don't want to be problematic. I just, you know, I don't have any issues. So yeah, but then actually Peter, he brought it up as he had similar feelings in a way. And then I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not crazy. And so I like vented to him about how I just felt like basically just like a piece of meat, like in terms of like content, just like there when I'm fun, like good for content. And if I'm not helping that, then I'm not a friend to him. I'm nobody. I even messaged him at one point and he didn't respond. And I was just like, okay, I get it. Like, I'll just be here when I'm there, I guess. And at that point, I think January, February 2020, this year? Holy shit, was it this year? Is it this year? Oh yeah, this year. I decided that I was just gonna take a step back, not care about Fed, just push back, or just stop caring, let him do his thing, and not like be dependent on any sort of interaction with him at all. And I told Yvonne, she was the only other person that I had told. I went to NorCal and we hung out at the mall, and I confided in her, and she's like, you're not crazy, Leslie. Like Fed has, like, there's so many issues going on that we don't know how to address, and that it's been clear that there's so many things with him. And yeah, and so it was a lot of fear from everyone about breaking the peace. You know, it's like, if things go bad with Fed, then like, what happens? Fed leaves OTV, like, what happens? Like, those thoughts were like terrifying. Like, you don't want to be that reason that this amazing group of content creators like has any problems. So I was very yeah, so I was very like cautious about that. Anyways, so that was just a side journey I had with him, or just a timeline of my feelings. And obviously, oh gosh, it feels so good to say this because I haven't this is obviously stuff I would never speak on stream ever. I would never say a bad word about Fed publicly because you know, you don't want to put that out there and get clipped and people are like, oh shoot, Leslie said this about Fed, okay, drama, you know. So I feel good being able to say it. I feel bad but good. Like, it's really sad that this is where it's at. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, no, thanks for listening. Yeah, side little things he'd do. I noticed just habits of his. Every time he was over, he'd just pick up my phone and start scrolling through my pictures, scrolling through my texts. And then I'd go grab my phone from him and he'd be like, what? And I'm like, can I have my phone? And he's like, or if my phone was password locked, usually he'd just like point the phone at my face so I could unlock. Hey, Peter. So I can unlock.
I'm really proud of you.
Yeah, I was all fairly nervous to speak. I wrote it all down in a stupid doc. Yeah, so he would point my phone at his face. If you want to pull up a seat, you totally can.
Do you want coffee?
Coffee.
I'm getting coffee.
Sure, yeah, I'd love.
That's totally not the reason why I came in here.
I don't know if the music's too loud. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, he would pick up my phone. He'd pick up my phone and he'd point it at my face so I would unlock the phone for him. And at first I was like, sure. So I just do it. And then I would be like, wait, what is he looking through? Why is he going through my text? Why is he just picking up my phone? Like, I don't have anything to hide, you know? Well, sometimes. Okay. Anyways, but am I quiet all of a sudden? How about now? Sorry, I just switched my mic so it can pick up Peter. It might be a little bit airy.
It's okay. I don't really have much to say, to be honest, other than just like corroborating how you feel. And like, there was that one time that, you know, right after they moved in, it was like, it went from seeing Fed like almost every day to every other day to like not at all. And then it was a weird feeling of not knowing if we did something wrong or if they were just burned out by us. And it felt bad to like reach out because we didn't want to seem like clingy, I guess. And so we were just kind of, I personally felt like we were just like up in the air because it really literally went, imagine like you had this really good friend and then one day they just stop talking to you completely. And then you're like not really sure why. And then there's like a kind of, you know, there is like a bit of like a power dynamic because, you know, Offlinetv is really, really popular and they're really successful and you don't want to like come off as like when you mix like business with friendship and stuff like this, it gets really complicated. Like you just want to play it safe, don't want to like overstep any boundaries and like potentially harm any relationships. I know that sounds like really fucked up in a way because like you shouldn't have to worry about these things when you're friends with these people. But in reality, it's like, it's just something that's like on the back of our mind as we are navigating like being streamers and being friends at the same time. So I just remember being in the kitchen with Leslie and being like, hey man, I feel like I'm going crazy, but like, do you feel like he's just kind of went like zero word, like just complete silence on us, just like out of nowhere. And then Leslie's like, yes, I was just talking about this with Edison. Like literally we were like thinking about these things at the same time. But then I thought I was going crazy. Leslie thought she was going crazy.
We didn't say anything,
like,
and then we just
I had my girlfriend to talk. I had no one to talk to about these things, and then Leslie had Edison to talk to. So, yeah. So look. My feelings on Fed are very complicated because as a guy, that was not like within his inner circle of like guy friends, I would say. Like I only got to see a side of Fed. You know what I mean? And that side of Fed I really appreciated, you know? He like, you know, like Leslie was saying, like he knows how to make you feel special, like if he gives you that attention, like he knows how to gas you up and stuff. And then like, but then there are times where it's just like there's complete droughts, you know. But that's, you know, I still had a really good support system, and like I didn't consider Fed like within my like really really close like group of friends. For me personally.
Okay, so my problem personally was that he would keep me in his close group by telling me things like you're my best friend, but like the actions he would share in those like moments, he'd like literally tell me these really powerful words that would make me like be like, okay, then act like it, then show me, right? And I would then try to reciprocate, like I want to be close. I'd share really personal things. He would share things that maybe he shouldn't have shared, but so that's why it felt toxic to me. When I look back at it, why did I feel like why did it matter that he stopped talking to us all of a sudden, just stopped coming over as soon as like the vlog content was done? Because you just felt like you got wrung out like a towel. Like I was like, wait a minute. Like I literally felt like used.
It did feel like an unhealthy dynamic, and like honestly, like it is partially my fault too that I put that kind of expectation onto Fed, like obviously, but then it did sometimes feel like we were like left out to dry. But that's not like just on him, obviously. Like I think it's not just black and white like that, but
I agree.
There were times where it really felt like I had a unhealthy like association, and it only felt better for me personally when I was like I kept like that relationship at like arm's length, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But yeah.
It's all really tricky. I understand the idea, like people are like, oh, you guys should keep this private and stuff. You guys saw what happened when we tried to protect him. Like when like people like when like you saw, and I knew that Toast had talked to Fed a year ago and that his behavior didn't change, even though like, and he lashed out a year ago, and then following the intervention directly, he showed behavior like people already talked about this, but like that he showed no change instantly. Like we tried to bring as many people to the intervention because we wanted to prevent him from running, because he has this habit of when like he would run to me. You guys remember that time on the Offlinetv podcast when they said something to Fed and he got triggered, like, and he called me on stream crying, and he put me in a really hard situation because like he's like crying to me and I'm like, hey Fed, I'm streaming. He goes, I know, keep streaming. And I'm like, what? And he's like, they make me feel like shit, yada, 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 right? And so I'm in this really awkward situation of having to comfort him, but also on the other side, OTV's like, please end the stream, please stop talking, please, like, and I'm just like, I felt so upset. So I just said, hey, please, can you, like, I have to go. You know, I forgot how I ended that, but I was in such an awkward situation in that point, and I was really mad at him for putting me in that situation, for seeing that I was on stream, calling me, putting me in that situation. And stuff like that, right? And he has a thing for going to run. Like at the Just Friends house, like we knew he would come to our house all the time, always in a bad mood, and it was always because it was like, oh, Fed's over, stuff with Pokey or OTV is like not good right now. Like that was it. He would run away. He would run away constantly, and then while he's there, he's like just spreading bad vibes about OTV, which would slowly start to push us away from them. I'd start to have these really negative thoughts about Pokey. Like I really thought like, wow, like she's driving him crazy, poor guy. Like, man, like, you know, I had all these negative thoughts about her, and I apologized to her directly about like not talking to her in the moment, instead just believing everything Fed was saying, because at the moment Fed is my close friend, you know? And so he like, yeah, and so if you're wondering why a lot of this stuff had to be aired publicly, and it's because that was the only way we'd see Fed change, because we had tried to address things publicly, and instantly with the intervention, he went running to all the people who weren't at the intervention, victimizing himself. And like, yeah, and yeah, I don't know what my place is to say actually, so I'm not gonna say it and more stuff, but like, there's a reason it had to be aired. And yeah. And in this moment, I didn't know what of my story that I felt like I didn't want to pour gasoline, but I talked to Skara, I talked to the girls, I talked to people. I asked them, should I just say nothing or should I say my side? And then they said like, anything that will help you gain closure here is your right to say. Anything that you think, yeah. And so I'm sorry if I'm like saying too much, or I'm sorry if for making like fuel to the fire.
Don't feel guilty about that.
I just want to be done with this after. I just want to say my piece. It's been, yeah, and I don't, yeah, at the same time I like, man, like I felt really bad about it.
I mean, it's, at the end of the day, we care about him.
Yeah,
It's just hard because we hoped that it wouldn't have to come to this.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you guys were talking about, like, you guys gave him the private intervention,
yeah,
and we're hoping that you could see some change happen from there, but, like, that's just not how it panned out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, I hope you guys aren't seeing this as, like, we're just gonna shit on Fed because we feel good about shitting on Fed. It's just important because a lot of these experiences have gone silent. Like, no one knew. Like, you guys heard where, like, they had that girls' night out, and then each of those girls had their own private issue that they had with Fed that they didn't know that the others were experiencing.
Yeah.
So it's important that, like, you know, these things come to light, and that, like, to potentially warn others of, like, this sort of behavior. You know what I mean? So it's not just to like farm the drama. I mean,
I hate being involved. Like, I know that everyone involved in drama, I get massive anxiety. Like, I don't want to speak on things. My initial gut was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to post a statement. I'm just going to retweet my friends, reply to them with lots of love because that's what, you know, but I don't want to speak on it because I'm terrible. And I get so much anxiety thinking about someone like clipping my words and being like, you know, oh, she said this. and then just making it worse.
Yeah.
So I talked to multiple people before I said anything, just to be like, is this a good idea? Is it okay? And they were like very reassuring, that it should be okay, and like that I should be able to say my piece on it.
Yeah, I mean, Leslie has been going back and forth on this for like a long time, where she's like, I don't know, should I tell him something? Should I talk about this? I don't know. Like, I just, I feel like this bothers me a lot, but I don't know if I should talk about this. I've been telling, like, honestly, this is how you feel. You really should talk about this. But like, we really have been. I won't say we, because I personally haven't been affected by Fed on the level that they have, for sure. But like, they have been really trying hard to protect Fed and look out for his best interests and really try to solve this behind the scenes. But it just didn't work out.
And then the last thing that I just want to touch on one more thing he did that I was a witness to, but it really disturbed me. We went to an event. I don't know because I'm not going to include the girl's name, because I didn't ask for her permission. We went to an event. We Fed likes to plan like when we go to like a rave and stuff. So we went to a rave, and Fed, a couple days before the rave, he's like on his phone and he's like showing me a streamer, and he's like, dude, what do you think? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you think? Like, she's like pretty, right? And I'm like, yeah, she's pretty. And then he's like, okay, like, we're talking. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, and he's like, yeah, we played League, played this, whatever, I'm like, okay, cool, right? Hope things, work out. Like, I don't know, just showed him that she's pretty, I guess. He wanted, like, approval. So then we all planned to go to this rave together. So when we get to the rave, or to the Airbnb, he shows up with this girl, and he basically, we didn't know she was coming. And we're like, oh, she's here. And he's like, oh yeah, I last minute invited her. Is that cool? I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Like, yeah, like, okay, cool. Hey, So she's with us. And I'm trying to say this without saying her name. I was gonna leak something. I'm just trying to keep it vague. But, so she's with us, and she was fun. We were just like chilling and stuff. We go to the rave the first night, and, basically, I think that's where, like, they, like, I don't want to say too much. Okay, they were, like, trying things out, but it didn't work, apparently, or, yeah, so Fed comes to my room right before I fall asleep, and he's like, hey, by the way, like, things with this girl, like, I don't like her anymore. Like, she's, like, not, like, he immediately starts bashing her name. And I'm like, whoa, what things didn't work out? He's like, yeah, I'm not into her at all. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Sometimes things don't work out. And he's like, so he's like, she's weird. He starts like attacking her like character and like making her seem really weird. And I was like, okay, well, what do we do? She's here with us. And he's like, I'm just gonna like pretty much like not talk to her. And I'm like, oh, so you're gonna just like, yeah. So he ghosts her for the rest of the weekend in person. He stops talking to her entirely, avoids her. We're in the same Airbnb the whole weekend. Like, this is his guest. So all of a sudden she's like clinging to us, and she's like, hey, and she's being cool and stuff. We're like, hey, I'm like, I don't know you that well, but like, you know what? I'll be your friend, because I see that the person who brought you here is completely ignoring you. So I was like, this is so rude, right? Am I crazy? I just felt like it was so rude. And I kept the thoughts to myself, because I was like, whatever. I was just like, you know what? I'll just hang out with her for now. And she made friends with everyone. And then on the last day, it's morning and everyone's checking out. Me and Edison are running around picking up things that we like left, or just making sure everything was good before checkout. And we go downstairs, and so we said bye. A lot of people said bye. We go downstairs, and like everyone is gone, including Fed, and like his guest is there, and she's like, can I get a ride? And I'm like, yeah, of course you can get a ride. And I'm like, why would you leave her here? Why would you leave before the girl you invited? What?
I remember that.
It was so rude. And that was something that hella triggered me. I was like, sure. So me and Edison drove her down, and we dropped her off at this place, and then she got picked up and made sure she had a ride and everything. But like, I was like, dude, if that doesn't show you like how poorly he treated someone, like, and I think the frustrating thing is that he would continuously like get away with these things, like very easily get off with things, and everyone would just excuse his behavior and stuff because he paid for the escape. I'll never say it was escape. He paid for the escape Airbnb.
You were so close.
I know, whatever.
You were so close.
Okay, whatever.
That's okay. It's okay. So close. I was like, dude, she's doing a pretty good job. No, there it is.
Okay, whatever. It was at escape, but it's just frustrating. Okay, so that was something that irked me for a long time. I did bring it up, and yeah. So. Not mentioning who it was, and so that's really it, and that's all I want to speak on for me personally. I didn't have any like super like I would say my stories are a lot tamer, but I guess I just want to get off my chest. That's it. It's a weird situation because Fed. I don't know, like I don't know where to go from here. And it's just like just people in our friend group are just dropping like flies, and I'm like. But it's why?
It's been really rough on our mental lately, as you could probably clearly tell. Like just a lot of anxiety, a lot of sadness. I think right now it's really important to support the victims for sure.
Yes.
I think Yvonne and Lily have been incredibly brave going forward, along with like a lot of the other stories going out. I actually am really pissed off at how some people have decided to react to their stories, to them coming out and telling their side.
Yes.
It just goes to show that this issue is like systemic and like really ingrained in people, and that like protecting a reputation, protecting a career is far more important than like hearing the stories of those who have been abused. So like even if we did go through the methods that people have been suggesting, why didn't you just do it privately? Why didn't you just do it privately? It's like they tried. They really tried. Like you saw like they tried it like a long time ago through Toast, and they did it recently too. And they all came together to show collectively that was a big issue in our friend group. So they really did try, and it came from a place of like they really were just concerned, you know.
Man, yeah, it's crazy to see the amount of people who think like they like know a situation and can judge the situation from when there's like I'm looking at the situation from people on the inside like that like who are going through this, and then people who are just like speculating, oh, that was the wrong way to handle it. Why don't you guys just do this privately? What's wrong with you guys? But you didn't understand.
There's just a lot of armchair analysts. It's a lot more like with all the stuff that we've already said. There's still like way more nuance and things behind the scene that you guys still don't know.
Yeah.
Like, please let me just like reiterate what Ludwig said the other day. It's like this is a parasocial relationship. Like you guys don't know us the way you think you actually know us. This is like a one-sided thing. Like we're not your friends. We are your entertainers at the end of the day. I know that sounds really harsh, but like you don't know us as people. You can't speak for us. You can't assume. Like I'm seeing a lot of, oh, I mean, I think X is a really good person, like at the end of the day, and it's like, look, man, like you really can't speak for them. And also I'm seeing a lot of people apologizing for the victims, like when you are not involved at all. Like it's just mind-boggling. It's crazy to me. And it's just, I think it just kind of speaks to the immaturity as a whole, you know? Like I'm not gonna lie, like with all these stories coming out, like I'm still getting educated, I'm still listening, I'm still hearing, but it's just like, it's shocking how close-minded people can be about this whole situation, about not listening to the victims, not hearing their side.
Hi, Leslie. I know it's hard talking about this.
Oh, sorry.
So just like, it's just crazy how much like gaslighting, like backstabbing, like things that will happen just to protect someone and their reputation, even if they don't deserve it. Because at the end of the day, I think if we all truly care about Fed, we want Fed to be the best guy that he can be, you know? Like we want him to change and grow from this. And like, I mean, we all just want that, right? So, and part of that, unfortunately, means holding him accountable for these things that he's been perpetrating, you know? And it sucks because I've only seen one side of Fed. You know what I mean? And I really like that side. But like when my friends are all coming out with their stories, their horror stories that they're experiencing with him, it's just like, how can I support that? You know? And like I trusted them to like try and deal with it the way they wanted to, and they tried, and it just didn't work out. So like, please be mindful of that. You know?
Oh yeah. Oh, after Pokey's thing, I was like, my God, like some of the stories that she had, the things that she had to go through. I'm sorry, I could not.
Can I just say that Pokey has been incredibly like patient and strong and understanding through like this, like she has gotten so much hate and so much of a bad rep like throughout the years for things that you guys will never fully even understand, and she has just kept quiet about to protect people. Okay,
She has
and to be
taken
professional.
so much to like, yeah, it's crazy. She is a queen. She's been, and personally, she's been really helpful during all of this. She's like helped me find the words to say, like made this easier for me to speak on, for us to speak on. She's been so supportive, and like she had to speak in front of so many people yesterday with like such personal like information that
she was like the volume of her voice went up a little, and she's like, I'm so sorry for getting emotional. I was just like, no, dude, you do what you gotta do. Like, I can't believe you're apologizing for like the volume of your voice going up like a little. That's crazy.
Because people won't listen to you when like emotion, like once you start crying, it's like people, like so many people on the internet are like, oh, women.
She had to give like as little reasons as possible for people to dismiss her side, like, because otherwise other people are like, oh yeah, she's just a woman, she's just being so emotional, like she's erratic, you know.
It's a serious thing.
She had the most like calmly delivered, just like rational, just from her point of view situate of everything, and like it gave such good perspective of what's been happening over the years. Yeah,
she had been through so much. So yeah, at the end of the day, send lots of love to you know, all of our friends at OTV, especially Yvonne, Lily, and Pokey, and it's been and seeing like how amazing like everyone else at OTV has been like as a support system for them too has been. It's been really wonderful.
Huge shout out to the guys at OTV too, like oh my god, Toast, Skara, and Michael. My brain just okay. Toast, Skara, and Michael have been amazing support system to the people there. That's gonna get clipped out of context for sure, but whatever. But like,
you're so used to it.
I've been talking to Skara over the past couple days, and he's been like, that's gonna get. I'm scared. Dude.
No, just keep talking. You're fine.
So, no, but they've been taking it really hard. Like, I know it doesn't show as much. Actually, I was watching Toast stream yesterday, and he got really emotional on stream. And you know that Toast doesn't really get emotional, especially on stream, very often. So, like, you could tell this affected him really deeply. And like, I've been talking to Skara over the past couple days because like everyone knows Skara to be like that bastion of strength, like immovable, just cannot. But like, I have never seen him more just upset, disappointed, and sad than in the past like week. And it's just, it's really, it's disheartening for sure.
I have to go through so much. Remember there was a time when everything was drama free and there was no...
Yeah, I mean, like, if this, in an alternate universe, like, there would be no pandemic. There would be no, like, crazy social movements. But I think it's important that we talk about these things.
Yeah. I think it sheds a lot of light on, like, how fame and, like, internet fame and, like, power and money can, like, kind of... It's really strong stuff. It can mess you up.
Yeah.
Because somewhere along the lines, like, I don't know where Fed went. Like, I don't know. Like, I know he was always like content, like, you know, he was the content king, you know? But somewhere along the lines, like, he got lost. And like, my first thing that I said to him was, I am so sorry for not like saying this to you right when it happened. Like for instead suppressing it, because I just wanted the peace. I didn't want to be problematic with everyone. And so that was the first thing I said to him. And I still stand by that. Like, but like at some point, like something happened, and yeah, his mind became all content and yeah, he got lost along the way. But I think important from here is that he gets help and that he is getting help.
Yeah, I firmly believe in rehabilitation through personal growth. Yeah. So like, I care about Fed. I hope he really learns and grows from this. Like, everyone is sad that it had to go this way. Like, no one is rejoicing over this. So it's a really sad circumstance for sure. But like, we're just hoping for his overall growth. I think it's just important overall to keep each other accountable.
Yes. So. Yes. It makes me think like, tell me when I'm being a bad friend, please. Tell me when I'm like...
Stop making me order so much Starbucks. I'm just kidding. But I'm kidding.
What?
I've never asked you to. I would never gaslight you.
Where's the Starbucks? Is it coming?
I don't know. They said order is out for delivery. You need your shit, huh?
No, I just.
Where's that? Where's the Starbucks?
No. Yeah, communicate. This is. I hope.
I'm still thinking about how I'm gonna get canceled because they're gonna clip just that part.
Shout out to
Boom.
the homie.
Boom, done. It's because we said Fed like 100 times in a row and like.
It's okay.
I'm screwed. It's over.
It's okay. Yeah, it's I